Hey, it's Paul from howtoplaybassdotcom. Today's lesson we're going to have a look at the bass line to Annie Wants a Baby by the Red Hot Chili Peppers, played by Flea of course, on the latest album, I'm With You album. I've broken this into sections. We've got the intro, which that pattern's also used for the verses. We've got the pre-chorus, chorus 1 and 2, and then we've got an outro which is based on the intro pattern with a couple of bars tagged on kind of from the pre-chorus pattern. So that's what we're going to go through. Each section of the lesson is preceded by a little clip of me playing along with a band in a box track to give you some rhythm stroke harmony. The band in a box track is slightly slower than the original tempo, so you kind of see what's going on. Hopefully you can see it's 110, I think it was, 110 beats per minute. The original is about 120 beats per minute. So that's the intro. Before we get started with the first pattern, if you're not a subscriber to my free monthly easy, click the link underneath the video, head over to the website, go and sign up for my free monthly easy, which is a video and PDF based song tutorial. It's free, exclusive to subscribers. Additionally, as a thank you for entrusting me with your email address, I'll also send you a sequence of song-based lessons in video and PDF format as well over the next 5 to 10 days. You'll get a series of those. There's quite a number of them, so it's well worth having all that stuff. As I say, it doesn't cost you anything other than your email address. So go do that, and let's get started with the lesson and go and look at the intro pattern. Okay, you just heard the intro being played along with some band in a box drums in kind of a style that we want for this tune. Now, the intro, and this pattern's also used for the verse throughout the course, 2-bar pattern that's repeated. It's a D minor chord to a B flat chord, and we're just playing we'll go through the notes first, and then there's an important thing I need to cycle back and talk about. So we start with 3 Ds, 5th fret of the A string, 2 octave Ds, 7th fret of the G string, then D, F, E. F is the 8th fret of the A string, E is the 7th fret. So then we got onto the B flat bar. We're going to play 3 B flats, 2 octave B flats, 6th and the 8th frets of the E and D strings respectively, then back to the low B flat, and then we're going to play E and F, 7th and 8th frets again of the A string. Now, the thing that's important to give it the sound, when you played the 3 Ds, or the 3 B flats on that bar, and you go to play the 2 octaves, you've got to keep that low D sustaining. So in the normal circumstances you'd play, or I would play like that, so not only would the left hand, or the fretting hand, come off the note, so it muted the note there, but my thumb would move down to the A string to mute the A string there as well. So what I'm doing is I'm anchoring my thumb on the pickup, and then just making sure I keep that note held down and don't bring it up. So don't do that, where you only get the octave sound and you want the low note sound as well. And the same thing applies for the B flat. Again, you want to keep that low B flat sounding, thickens the sound out, gives texture to the bass line. And then it's these intervals at the end, the B flat, E and F, and the D, F and E prior to going down to the B flat, that make the combination of holding the root note, sustaining it into the line, and those intervals, because you've got some tritones happening, make the line sound dark and give the line a lot of its texture. So try that slowly. In fact, you just practice with just those first 5 notes, making sure you're sustaining and you're getting that dark sound. And then when you add those other notes in, when you're starting to get comfortable with that, it will make the sound of the line, make the distinctive, has that kind of a dark feel to it, because A, it's in a minor tonality, B, holding the note gives it holding the root note while you're playing the octave gives it some depth, and then C, you're using those intervals, you've got the tritone in there, you're going down to the B flat, and that's a jump, an interval jump that you don't often catch as an approach note. So that's the intro. That pattern's used in all the verses as well, so do learn that pattern pretty well. The next pattern we need to go on and look at is the pre-chorus. Now the pre-chorus, you just heard it being played with Band in a Box track. We had some chords this time. On the original, the first time through the pre-chorus, the bass pretty much plays everything, and then the rest of the instruments come and join in. We're going to play the pre-chorus up here, and we're going to use some tenths. Now if you don't know what a tenth is, that's the sound of a minor tenth, and that's a major tenth. A tenth is literally the root note, then the third note of the scale, in a minor chord, obviously it's a minor third, a major chord, it's a major third, but played up an octave. So for a minor chord, we're going to play G minor in tenths, which is G at the 15th fret of the E string. We're going to play that B flat as the minor third, which is the 15th fret of the G string. So the rhythm we're going to play is 2 lows, 1 high, 2 lows, 1 high that's held for a full beat, and then another high. Now again we're going to sustain, so rather than getting, we're going to play, so you get the note sustaining and creating a chordal effect. That rhythm goes through this section right through to the last bar. The next chord is an F add 9 chord, and this is a major chord, so we're going to play the major third. So we've got F at the 13th fret of the E string, and then the major 10th is A at the 14th fret of the G string. So again, playing that same rhythm, but playing a major 10th rather than a minor 10th. Then we're going to slide down and play a major 10th for 2 bars, again duplicating that exact thing, but for E flat major 7. So we're going to play E flat's going to be the root note, the 11th fret of the E string, and the 10th, the major 10th, is going to be G natural, the 12th fret of the G string. Okay, that's the first 4 bars. The next 4 bars, we've got 2 more. We've got a bar of G minor again, then a bar of F major 9, and we're going to use the major 10th. Then we're going to go down to D. So D add 4 chord. It's a strange little chord, but it's a major chord, so we're going to use the major 10th again. And then the very last bar, it just transitions to a D chord. We're just going to play that in 8th notes, and then we get to the chorus, which will be the next section, starts on the octave of D at the 12th fret of the D string. So one thing to note, when you're playing minor tenths, often second and third finger are good fingers to use. Major tenths you can use second and fourth finger, or first and fourth finger, first and third finger. Tenths are really nice to add in. Flea uses them quite a lot actually, broken tenths as well, where he's a tenth is where you play the notes together. A broken tenth is where you play the notes separately, although Flea gets the effect in this song by keeping the low note held in. So that's the pre-chorus. Let's move on now to the next section, which is the chorus. Okay, the chorus. We're going to look at two choruses because they're subtly different. Chorus 1 and chorus 2 are both 17-bar figures. You can think of them as a 4-bar pattern repeated twice, although in the first chorus, Flea uses some basically uses some bass notes that turn the chords into slash chords, and using some different notes on those chords. We'll talk through that as we get through it. But it's like a 4-bar pattern that's repeated 4 times, and then there's a bar of B flat which is tacked onto the end of the chorus, which then kind of sets up going back into that kind of pattern. So let's go through the chorus note by note. So it starts off D minor, and in the first chorus we start off here at the 12th fret of the D string. Most of the chorus is pretty much played in kind of root notes or in single notes, apart from there's a couple of sections with some octaves in, but we'll see. So the first bar is just plays D, and then we go down to G at the 10th fret of the A string, a G minor chord. Then we've got an E flat, is the chord, but Flea's turning it into a sus chord by playing B flat. That's the B flat at the 8th fret of the D string, and then he's going to play, which is D flat, 11th fret of the D string, C, 10th fret of the D string. So those 4 bars, D, G, B flat, D flat and C. Now this pattern pretty much repeats for the next 4 bars. Okay, this is where the pattern then starts to change on the 9th bar. We go down for the D minor chord to the 5th fret of the A string. We're going to play that kind of pattern, which is 3 low Ds, octave D, 5th and 7th frets of the A and the G string, another pair of octaves, and then another 2 low Ds. So then we're going to play that pattern again, but with G, the 3rd fret of the E string and the 5th fret of the D string for the octaves. Then we're going to go to E flat. We're going to play on E flat, 6th fret of the D string with this rhythm. And then the last bar of this 4-bar section, we're going to play 3 G flats, 4th Fs. G flat and F, 4th and 3rd frets of the D string. So I'm going to play that 4 bars slowly. Okay, then we go back to D minor, G minor, that's the 5th frets of the A and the D strings. Then we're to E flat, 3 G flats, 3 Fs, 4th and 3rd fret of the D string for G flat and F, and then we're down to this transition bar, which is just in B flat, which is the 6th fret of the E string. That leads us back to the verse pattern. I think it plays through 4 times as an interlude, and then the verse comes in. One strange little thing in this song, between verse 3 and verse 4, there's a 2-bar interlude. It doesn't happen between verses 1 and 2, where it plays, just plays those 2 bars before we go back to. So you're going to play 6 Cs, then D and C, then down to B flat, play 5 B flats, followed by F, E and F, 8th, 7th, 8th frets of the A string. And then you'd be back into that pattern again. So it's an odd little 2-bar interlude, so do watch for that when you're playing along with the original. And then after verse 4 we get to chorus 2. Same chord progression as we had in chorus 1, but played differently. So we'll go and look at those variations. heard chorus 2 played with the band in a box sketch track. The main difference is in the first chorus we were playing up here. In this chorus we're playing all the time down here. So we've still got the same chords, and we'll be able to go through this quite quickly because if you've learnt the first chorus you should be fairly familiar with this. So the first 4 bars. So we've got D, 5th fret of the A string, G, 5th fret of the D string, E flat, 6th fret of the A string, and then 3 G flats, 3 Fs, 4th and 3rd frets of the D string. That pattern pretty much repeats for the next 4 bars. Okay, then we've got some subtle variations in the next 4 bars. But if you wanted to learn this quickly for a gig, you could just play that pattern 4 times through. In bar 9, playing the same thing in bars 9 and 10, D to the G minor chord. Then when we get to E flat, we're playing. We've got some slides in, so you're going to play E flat, slide, G flat, F, 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 and then you'll be sliding back to the D minor for the next 4 times through the progression. And again, there's some slight variations there. So we start off in bar 13. So we're going to play, so D minor bar, you're playing D, 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 B flat, A, which is the 6th and the 5th frets of the E string. Gets you down to the low G, 3rd fret of the E string. Then we're up to E flat, 6th fret of the A string again. Slide, 4 G flats, 4 Fs, this time 9th and 8th frets of the A string. Then we've got 1 bar of B flat, which sets up the pattern in D minor. But this time it's not a verse, it's the outro. So we'll go and look at the outro. That's the last section of the tune we need to do. Let's move on and look at that. Okay, the outro built, you just heard the outro being played, built on the same, most of it's built on the same pattern we're using for the verse and the intro. You basically play through that pattern 4 times. Then on the 4th time, you play this variation on the B flat. You've got to slide up, get a bar of 8th notes at G, the 15th fret of the E string. Then we're down to F, that F add 9 chord, and we're going to use tenths again. And then E flat major 7 is the last chord, 11th fret of the E string, of course.